Hello everyone, my name is Prashant and today I'm going to talk about automatic system tuning daemon called Tune, which is introduced with RHEL 6. And before we are going to dig into the what are the technical details of the tune, let me first tell you why we need Tune. So let's say I'm going to set up some virtual server or some storage server or storage in the background, and before doing that let's say means because we have a different workload, and the workload for storage is different as compared to your like a native desktop machine. So before setting up all these things, we are going to tune the some of the parameters. So let's say the first place where we always look at inside the etc.sysctl.com. So instead of tuning all those parameters manually, or instead of putting all those parameters manually inside that file, we are looking for some kind of a automated stuff. Or in other words, we will say that, for example, my major workload is between 9 to 6, and after that the workload is going to be reduced in my company. So in that case, I am going to spin down my disk to save some power. So earlier, what means whatever the approach which is going to be followed by many of the system administrator is like set up some kind of a cron job, so it's going to spin down your disk after 6 p.m. And to then spin up again after once the workload has been decreased to get the advantage of power saving mode. So instead of doing all those things manually, or instead of putting all those things inside your cron job, we are looking like a Reddit provider or open source community provide some kind of a daemon called Tune, which is going to automate all those things. So you don't need to put all those things manually. So like I mentioned, starting from RHEL 6, a new system tuning daemon is introduced called Tune, which is like automatic system tuning daemon. So it really helps your system administrator to dynamically tune system for different workload, because like I mentioned, like a workload is different at different point of time. So by default, it comes with a 9 tuning profile. So like this is a by default daemon or a command line tool, and here you can see like a different kind of a profile depending upon your requirements. So for example, if I'm setting up an enterprise storage, or excuse me, if I'm setting up any desktop or a server, so by default, whatever will be your requirement, it is going to set up your server. It means you are going to select the profile based on your requirement. And let's say if any one of these tuning profile doesn't suits your needs, so let's say you're using some kind of a customized application and you need to add some of the variables according to based on those customized application, so you can create your own custom profile. So that means this is really easy in case of a tune. And whenever you are going to install this tune, by default two services are enabled. One is tune and second one is ktune, and we are going to see how we are going to enable these services. So once you install it, it is going to activate some of the helper program, which is keep on monitoring the activity of your system, which is called plugin. And by default it comes with the CPU, the network card, and your hard disk plugins, and it is going to collect the information regarding your system and evaluate the data depending upon your system load, and dynamically adjust all your system settings or system tunables. So you don't need to do anything manually. So means it will react to changes in your CPU and network use and adjust the settings. So for example, any of the device which will actively be used, it's going to improve the performance of the device by changing those settings, or reduce the power consumption for any of the inactive device. That's what the tune is going to do. Tune is going to do for you. So it's will really helpful for system administrator to select those kind of a profile and to tune your system depending upon your workload. Okay, so this is that, like I mentioned, this is the default binder you are going to use it, and sorry, it comes with these sets of command. So let's say I already showed you the list, which is going to list out all the default profile which has been shipped. And I forget to mention you, if you look at the bottom of the tune-adm list, you see what is the current profile which has been currently active. So here currently is pinned down this. By default, the default profile which has been activated by default whenever you're going to install it. And let's run the other one, active. So like it's mentioned in the bottom, the current active profile is pinned down disk. If you are going to run this command, it's going to again show you that the current profile is pinned down disk. This Tune Daemon is running, which is going to monitor your system. Like I already mentioned, depending upon your workload, is going to tune the parameter. And ktune is like another way you can define another file except for sysctl.conf where you're going to put your parameter. So we are going to discuss all those, like what is the ktune.sysconfig or sysctl.ktune in the upcoming section. So let's once again run this command, and let's say I'm running a server system and I need to change the profile to the server power saver. So that is easy. You just need to run this profile and insert. So what it's going to do, it's going to set up the profile, and now if you run this command active, it will show you that the server power saver is the default mode. Okay, so stopping tune, activating the server power saver, apply the ktune sysctl settings. We are going to discuss all these settings, etc, and starting the tune daemon. So let's discuss all these things one by one. So whenever you are activating any of the profile, there is a directory called tune-profiles where all these profiles reside. So currently the server power saver is our default profile. So let's go inside this directory, cd power saver, and let's see what are the different configuration files which has been provided by this. So let's start with tune.conf. Okay, so this is the main configuration file. So what is the use of this configuration file tune.conf? Okay, this is a main configuration file for tune and contains several sections. So like the first section, interval 10. So like I told you, it comes with a default with a sets of like a lot of plugins which is going to monitor your system. So if you look at here, there's a section called a main section which control overall option of the daemon. So let's say like the interval equal to 10. So its default is 10 second, like that is the default interval for your monitoring and tuning. It has been currently been set to 10 second. You can change this. After that, there are like I told you, like the monitoring is been like that there's a plugin for disk monitor for your CPU and for your Ethernet. So each monitoring and tuning plugin has its own section. So like for example, for disk we have this section, for network monitoring we have this section, and last but not the least we have a CPU section for CPU monitoring. Okay, currently there are not much options available right now, and you have like enable equal to true or enable equal to false. So default is a true, any other value will disable this. So means currently it is hash, so these values are enabled by default. So it's going to monitor all these, means your CPU, your network, and this monitoring is enabled. Okay, so this is the first configuration file which has been monitored by the when you have started the tune daemon. Now let's look at the second file, ktune.sysconfig. Okay, so it will tell you like whether we need to enable the ktune or not. This is the most important parameter. Okay, and then here you can set up your what is the elevator you are going to use. So let's say I am going to use elevator as a deadline. Okay, so before that let's check what is the elevator which is been currently set. So my disk is SDA sysblock SDA device Q device and then Q. No. Okay, let's go to this cat sysblock SDA Q and scheduler. Okay, so the current elevator which has been set to CFQ. So before tune, what exactly we did in the earlier version of Red Hat, that we generally do that echo. So we do echo deadline, let's say not change to deadline, let's change it to no. So we can see like is our changes will be applied after using this elevator. So now it's changed to no operation. And if we need to make these changes persistent across reboot, what exactly we do? grub.con, and we generally add this entry equal to elevator is equal to whatever the elevator we want to put, for example NOOP. Okay, so these changes will persistent across reboot. But like I showed you, this is a system which having a single hard disk. But what would be the case in a system which is having a multiple hard disk? For example, this system has SGB, SDC, or the other sets of hard disks. But let's make the situation more complex. For example, I want to set up a deadline for one of the hard disks as well as the let's say NOOP or CFQ for the other hard disk. So in that case, the solutions we have is like we need to use this file etc.rc.local and then echo these value inside this file, so that the SDA will pick this value, pick this as an elevator, and SDB will pick that as a NOOP as an elevator, which is not a feasible solution. But now with this, using this tune, we can enable it by using this configuration file. So like I show you, we have set it as a NOOP as elevator or no operation. So let's set elevator equal to deadline, and here, because I have a single hard disk, okay, now tuned-adm profile, let's once again run server-power server. Okay, now let's check. Now deadline is my elevator. So now you don't need to put those value inside the etc.rc.local or inside means in your grub.con elevator equal to whatever be the value. You can simply change it over here. So let's say I have one more hard disk which is having a value of like let's say SDB or SDC. So here I think I messed it up. Let's go to any of the other profile. So ktune.sysconfig. So I can just mention it over here, SGA colon SDB SDC, whatever it is, and we are going to implement those value over those profile. And I can say like depending upon our requirement, I can put those value inside this file. Okay, so let's go to that server power server mode. So far we have discussed about tune.con, where we have put all those plugins, where we see all those plugin values, how it has been monitored, what are different plugins we have. ktune.sysconfig, where we can put the elevators and whether we need to use the ktune or not. Now let's look at this file called sysctl.ktune. Okay, for this it is blank, so let's see for some other, because I want to demo it to you. Like, so here you can set up like a lots of value over here. So like dirty background dirty ratio, or a dirty background ratio, or this kernel PID max, all these value. Just remember one thing, means this is your customized file where you can put all these value. Just remember one thing, like this file is being read after sysctl.conf. So if you are going to put any of the value in sysctl.conf, let's say I am putting dirty ratio is equal to 10 in the sysctl.conf and dirty ratio here equal to 50. So the 10 is been overwritten by this dirty ratio value. So let's do it. Sysctl. So here I am going to put a value of dirty ratio equal to 50. Okay, copy this value. Okay, and let's search for dirty. There's no dirty value. Okay, inside this file let's put it this much. Okay, And remember one thing, we are changing inside the enterprise storage. And if you, like I mentioned, if you need to check your current profile, you can see with the help of this command. So currently it's power saver. So let's change the profile, because we have set that value 30 background ratio inside the enterprise storage. Okay. Okay, so what we did, we have put the value inside sysctl.conf equal to 10, and inside this sysctl.ktune equal to 50. Let's see what is the value which is being picked by the system right now. Okay. So I'm saying opposite of that. So let's enterprise storage. So let's go back to this config. Okay, this is a custom sysctl configuration file. Any setting in this file will be applied after the ktune setting. Overriding item, comment them out, use only the ktune settings. Okay, sorry. So the etc.sysctl.conf setting will be read later. So here if you can see, whenever I'm going to put this value, first that tune setting is being applied, and later on the last place the sysctl.conf setting is being applied. Okay, so just to make it sure that we are not guessing anything, let's change this value equal to 20. Okay, and this value equal to 30. So let's see which value is going to be applied. And now again this value. So this means a good learning curve where you can see like what exactly it has been picking it up. Okay, so it's picking up 20, which is the value which has been defined inside. So the bottom line is put that value at one place, either in etc.conf or either in sysctl.ktune. So sysctl.conf is going to override the value. One more thing, we can check it over here. Okay, not here, but inside ktune.sysctl, ktune.sysconfig, if we going to comment out this value. Okay, so now it is not going to read sysctl.conf. Okay, so if you see here, we set up the value equal to 30. Now let's once again reload the profile. Okay, so now it should be 30 if we are correct. Okay, so now it is picking up value 30. So that means first it is going to search the value inside your sysctl.conf, and then it is going to your etc.sysctl.conf. So whatever the value which has been put inside your ktune.sysctl.ktune is going to be override by your etc.sysctl.conf, that is your main configuration file. Okay, and just to add that, means now everybody is aware of that. Let's don't go to that much detail. Okay, let's leave it for now, but there's a one more thing. I think I missed one file called ktune.sh, which is a shell script which is basically being defined for your stop and start and all those things. So how to start this profile, it basically read one of the config main function file, and where it has been defined like how the stop and start, whatever the setting which is being applied when you're going to stop and start any of this instance. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. So these are the configuration file. Okay, and what are the different parameters? These are slides which I am taking from the Red Hat main website, that these are the value which is going to be changed when any of this profile is going to be implemented. For example, the default profile, your latency performance, your throughput performance, your enterprise storage, your virtual host or virtual get, whatever the profile which is going to be implemented over here, these are the value which is being picked up. Okay, Now before we are going to end up this presentation, let me show you like how you can create your default profile, means your customized profile. So you don't need to do much of the thing. So let's say I'm going to configure this enterprise storage profile, and I need to create my own profile where I need to change some of the values. So I just need to copy this profile. I created this profile called testing. Okay, here the best thing is you can test it with the help of this tuned-adm list, and here you can see that it is going to show this testing profile as well. Anything which is come inside this directory, it is tune.profile. Let's go inside this testing profile. Okay, and let's modify some value. So this is perfectly fine. Okay, we are focusing on dirty ratio, so let's focus on dirty ratio. So let's change this value to 80 because this is my customized requirement and I want this dirty ratio value to be 80. Okay, and test it. Okay, now check this value. So now it is been set to 80. Check which profile it is been running right now. List, it is testing, or you can check it with the help of active. Okay, so this is how you can create your custom profile. If you want to completely turn it off, this tune, you can turn it out with the help of tune-adm this much, and here you can see that there is no current profile active. Okay, so this is just a little bit introduction to tune. It is a really helpful daemon which has been introduced in rel 6 so that you don't need to tune many of the parameters manually. Like I mentioned, all these parameters, whatever the profile you're going to choose depending upon your requirement. For example, the throughput performance where the dirty ratio has been set to 40, or if you are setting up a virtual host, the scheduler has been automatically set it for you depending upon whatever be the requirement. Your CPU governor, or like your power saving mode is been automatically been set for you. So means all these things like been automatically been set inside the profile. You don't need to do anything, you just need to set up the profile based on your requirement, and that will did a trick for you. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any query and question, just write to me at laprashant@gmail.com. Thanks once again.